Howdy folks, it's a beautiful, cool, rainy day out here in Vancouver. And I got to tell you, today the weirdest thing, as an ex-Joburger, the weirdest thing happened to me today. So, you know that we picked up and cleaned up at that little drug den thing and we had the bags with the needles and stuff? Now today, I called the West Vancouver City Council to report that I have picked up that stuff and that it's here. And you know what? Not only did they actually answer the phone, I mean, I got through to them, I spoke to somebody, but they also sent somebody out to come and collect those bags and properly dispose of them. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine trying to phone the city council in Joburg and saying, hey, I picked up some needles when I was cleaning up, can you guys come and fetch it? I mean, it would be like, well, you wouldn't be able to ask them that because the odds of you actually getting through to the city council in Joburg is probably a big fat zero. But anyway, so let me take a step back and tell you what happened. So we went and cleaned up behind that bus stop. I made the girls went with me and we cleaned up there. And then we found a bunch of used needles, so quite a lot actually, 30, 40, no, a bunch. Anyway, so we picked it all up and we put it in the bin, and I was going to just throw it out with the rubbish, but then I got a little bit apprehensive because the thing is, you know, you've got open needles and syringes and shit in the normal rubbish, and I don't know how people handle the rubbish here, so it's probably not the best place to dispose of it. And I was speaking to a friend of mine and he said, hey, just phone the West Vancouver City Council. You should have just phoned them from the bus stop. They would have sent somebody to come and pick it up. And I'm like, no, that can't be true. He says, no, just call. Actually, don't call the City Council. Just call the West Vancouver Police non-emergency line because, you know, they would want to know about that going on over there. You know, report it. Maybe they don't know that there's a bit of a place there where people take drugs. So I thought, okay, well, you know, at first I was like, oh my God, I'm going to like phone these guys and sit on the phone holding on for like hours. But any which way, so as it turns out, I picked up the phone, I dialed the West Vancouver non-emergency police line, and bam, they answered. A very friendly young lady on the other side was like, hey, how can we help you? I'm like, I just wanted to report this. I saw we went there to clean up, we found all the needles. She's like, oh no, we can't have that. Can I send somebody to come and clean it up? I'm like, well, you know, we were there, so we cleaned it all up. I've got all the stuff in my garage now in a bin. So she's like, okay, so it's not an immediate danger. I'm like, no problem. She's like, okay, I'm going to give you a number for the West Vancouver City Council. They are going to send out a disposal team to come and collect the stuff and dispose of it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I put the phone down. It was late in the afternoon, so it was, I guess, after closing time. I phoned the West Van City Council and it went through to an answering machine because, you know, I think I was a little late. Anyway, went through to an answering machine. I'm like, hey, this is Carl van Kraan. We did this. We picked up these needles. I'm sitting with them in my garage in a bin. Here's my number. And I thought, okay, well, yeah, well, that's it. I mean, you know, coming from Joburg, I have left messages for government departments before. You know, that's just like pretty much file 13. It's not, nobody's ever going to call you back. Anyway, so I kind of let it go. This morning I had a whole bunch of virtual meetings, one after the other. So I missed a phone call early morning or 9ish or whatever. Afterwards I listened to the message. It's somebody from the disposal department. So I phoned them back. The lady answers. She's like, hey, yes, what can we do? I'm like, oh, this is, oh, yes, you reported that you picked this up. I'm like, yes. She's, can we send somebody to your house? What's your address? We're going to come and have it picked up today. I'm like, yeah, okay, sweet, that's good. Thank you. Sit in a couple of more meetings. A little later, I miss another phone call. I listen to a message. It's somebody from the city council going, hey, we had two guys there. They knocked on the door and nobody opened. I don't know why. We didn't hear them. We were both in meetings. And they like, yeah, they nobody answered. Are you home? I'm like, yes, I am home. The guy is like, okay, cool. I'm going to tell them to turn around and go back to you. Well, they'll be there in 10 minutes. That's it. They arrive here. I had to go out to go and get new glasses from the optometrist. So Belinda waited for them. These two guys rocked up. with stuff to dispose of needles, you know, so they kind of focused more on picking up needles, not really the full rubbish like we went and threw everything in the big bags now. So they're looking at it, they go, you know, normally we're only supposed to pick up needles, but we're not going to sift through this rubbish, so we'll just take these and go and dump them off at the disposal site and they can take care of it. Friendly, helpful, awesome. I mean, that is just, that's just amazing, you know. And that's what makes it awesome here. It's the fact that stuff works. Things that you expect from your council and from your government. And I know the Canadians have their own political issues. You know, they argue about a bunch of things, and you know, politics in every country in the world is weird. But in any case, the fact is that stuff still works. You can ride the buses safely. The buses are clean. The place is clean. If you phone the council, they answer. If you report something, they come out, they fix it. You know, things work. I love South Africa. I love Joburg. I love Cape Town. Well, Joburg is maybe. But anyway, I love it. I love the people. I love the nature. I love everything. But I think that's the biggest problem that we have with all this corruption that's been going on in government and local government and everything, is how much of it does not work. I mean, how many towns where the council doesn't even provide electricity or sewage or, you know, basic services anymore? It's nuts. Well, I assume it's also got to do with the fact that, you know, over here there's a lot more money and the government's a bit stronger and well funded. But yeah, it just is nice to live in a place where stuff works. What can I say? Anyway, guys, you must all have a good one. I'm going to do the cold weather thing right now and go crawl into bed and watch some courses. Cheers.